17 fences, 3 in the home straight the first time, and then they go around 2 complete circuits. Runners and riders, only 5 of them. Number 1 is Exotic Dancer, AP McCoy, runner-up in the Gold Cup, of course. 2 is Our Vic, runner-up in the Ryanair Chase at Cheltenham, Timmy Murphy. 3 is My Will, Ruby Walsh. Number 4, State of Play, who was 6th in the Gold Cup, Paul Maloney. And number 5, Turpin Green, who was 3rd in that Gold Cup, Tony Dobbin.
Well, there's many refurbishments gone on here at Aintree, and I think one of the welcome additions is to have bookmakers down here the other side of the paddock. People have been able to judge the horses and then come and choose, and it's interesting to see how the business is generated. It's quite busy here. It's going to be even busier on Friday, and of course on the National Day itself this could be a place where punters can still see in the paddock and then have their bets. Well, there's no doubt that Tony McCoy, an expensive failure for so many in the first, is the one that they've latched onto here. I saw 7-4 early, 13-8. It's now 6-4 favourite, Exotic Dancer. The other focus of this market is the weakness to Turpin Green, who ran so well in the Gold Cup when finishing 3rd. Very easy to back, having opened up now a big drifter. Our Vic, My Will's been supported from 12s into 10. State of Play is the second favourite, but it's Exotic Dancer that punters have latched onto here, the 6-4 market leader. But 13-8 is now becoming available, so 13-8 the favourite.
Quite amazing that this horse is 13-8, because I was in John Halewood's box up before lunch, and Freddie Williams, the Scottish bookmaker, told me he had laid a bet. He'd taken 100 grand at 2-1 on this horse this morning and said he will go off at 13-8. Well, how right can you be? The horse now, after being beaten at Carlisle, came on to be so successful in 3 races at Cheltenham. In fact, these last 4 races have all been at Cheltenham. Even though he was beaten last time, he wasn't disgraced. This was the Cheltenham Gold Cup itself. Look at Exotic Dancer there, buried in the middle, the pink colours. State of Play's on the inside, the blue colours. He didn't get much of a run and got a little bit of interference. And the winner, Corto Star, coming on the outside. Just look, they're bunching up there. And Exotic Dancer weaving his way through, pushing State of Play out of the action a little bit. Paul Maloney in the blue colours having to switch. Now, as we know, Corto Star. And by the way, that loose horse is Idle Talk, Donald McCain's runner in the Grand National. What a great prep to go around there loose for this. Have a look, just a hiccup at the last slightly. Tony McCoy had also ridden a waiting race on Exotic Dancer, as had Ruby Walsh on the winner here. Just plugs on up the home straight, but he's following a superstar here. Turpin Green back in 3rd place. Funny old character, fitted with the blinkers for the first time on this occasion, and they certainly galvanised him. Well, there is Exotic Dancer, and he looks well, but what a bet. 100,000 quid Freddie Williams took at 2-1 this morning. Now, Turpin Green in Trevor Hemmings' colours, this one by Presenting. Here he is. You could see he's got an ugly old head, and he's a funny old horse, and neither can be attributed to Trevor Hemmings, Brian.
Trevor Hemmings and David Johnson. Trevor, you've got Turpin Green. David, you've got Our Vic. Trevor, big chance. He won a great race in the Gold Cup.
Well, he's a good horse. He came 3rd, as you know, in the Gold Cup, and he just proved what a good horse he is, really. And maybe Idle Talk just held him up slightly. Otherwise, he might have been even nearer the front. But no, we just hope he's just a bit of a quirky horse at times, as you know. And as long as he gets off his first 2 fences or 3 fences, he'll settle down. But he's a young horse. That's, you know, with not a lot of mileage.
David Johnson, Our Vic, you know, he's been a good servant to you.
He has. He's a bit of an enigma. He never runs 2 races, the same as you know. Haydock at Cheltenham, he was running on at the end, and thought maybe we chose the wrong race for him, but just hope the good side of him turns up today. It's a competitive race, good prize money, and any of the 5 could win, to be honest.
It's a great race. We wish you luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Well, there is nearest to us is Turpin Green, and there on going left-handed is Our Vic. Amazing race he ran at Cheltenham in the Ryanair. He was 2nd to Tyrannus, Billy Voden back in 3rd. Now, on this occasion, just have a look there. He's some way behind as the business end of the race gets going, but he runs all the way to the line. He had been hampered earlier on. Now, just seeing going to the last slap from Timmy Murphy, gets a good jump, but at that stage you would have never thought he'd have got so close to Tyrannus. But at Cheltenham, that famous hill brings horses back together. Billy Voden just running, but
Well, away they go, off and running now in this Betfair Bowl. It's over 3 miles and a furlong. And Alvic and State of Play as they go to the first. They land over 3 or 4 lengths clear of My Will, who's up in 3rd place, and just behind them Exotic Dancer as they're drawn out of the second. An open ditch. Alvic on the outside. A narrow leader here from State of Play as they settle, and it appears that Timmy Murphy is intent on setting a good gallop on this horse. They're 4 or 5 lengths to My Will. 3 lengths away then on the outside is Turpin Green, and Exotic Dancer with a pink cap as last at the 3rd. And it's Alvic over it nicely by 4 lengths or so, and a mistake there by Exotic Dancer. Hit that very hard and it just lost momentum back there in last place for Tony McCoy. But about to swing left-handed now past these packed stands on the first day of the Aintree meeting. And it's Alvic showing the way by 3 or 4 lengths to in second, State of Play. About 3 or 4 away then in third is My Will. 2 lengths further back is Turpin Green. And last with a pink cap after that slight mistake, Exotic Dancer. Heading down the back, 4 awaiting them on this section of the course. And the leader as they come to fence number 4 is Alvic. Comes towards it, puts in a shorty, lands well. Again, a little bit sloppy at the back, Exotic Dancer, not jumping well at all. As they come now towards fence number 5. And the leader on the inside is Alvic by a length and a half. To in second, State of Play. They jump it almost together. About 4 or 5 lengths clear then of My Will, followed by Turpin Green, and just being passed by Exotic Dancer on the inside. Second open ditch coming up. And on the inside, it's Alvic. On the outside, State of Play. They're 2 or 3 lengths to My Will. Followed then by Exotic Dancer and 2 lengths to Turpin Green as they come to the 7th. And jumping well, Alvic out in front here. On the inside of State of Play, and the pace has been pretty good. They're 4 or 5 lengths clear of My Will in third. Then 2 lengths further back on the outside, Turpin Green, and 2 or 3 lengths away is Exotic Dancer as they head now towards fence number 8. State of Play, a bit clever there, put in a short one and just corrected himself. May have been a fraction close otherwise, but Alvic, I should say, in front as they round the turn from State of Play. A gap then of some 4 or 5 lengths to My Will, Exotic Dancer and Turpin Green. Coming to the 9th. And Alvic on the inside of State of Play. Not much between them. 4 or 5 lengths then to My Will, followed by Turpin Green. Third open ditch coming up now, and State of Play on the outside has jumped up into the lead. He goes on by half a length or so. Alvic sticking with him. 4 or 5 lengths further back is My Will, followed then by Turpin Green and Exotic Dancer. As they come now towards the 11th, it'll be the last next time round. State of Play on the near side, comes towards it, jumps it well. From in second, Alvic. 5 lengths away then is My Will from Exotic Dancer and Turpin Green. Peter Scudimore's in the car following the field. At this stage, Peter, which one would you want to be on?
Exotic Dancer, as you say, has made a couple of mistakes, but really he's travelling very well. You can see Tony at times has just been trying to ease him back. He's just been running to the bottom of his fences. As the pace quickens up down the back here, I hope that he jumps better. Timmy Murphy and Alvic has just been playing with him. He's a bit of a character and just trying to keep him sweet, really. And Paul Maloney on State of Play has just been niggling away at Alvic. And you can see there just Alvic not like being taken on.
Over the 12th now, and State of Play out in front by 2 lengths to Alvic. Then up in third is My Will, followed by Exotic Dancer. And Turpin Green, who is getting reminders, has not responded at all. And is a long last. At the 13th, State of Play led over that one. From in second, Alvic, who landed a little bit awkwardly. Out deeper on the track then is My Will, followed by Exotic Dancer as they come to the 4th open ditch. And State of Play a fraction close at that. And My Will has moved up on the outside to apply pressure, and State of Play has dropped back. Now being passed again by Alvic on the outside, who hit that hard. And Exotic Dancer's coming into it as a real threat now as they prepare to leave the back. They've got 4 left to jump. My Will is the leader. State of Play back in the race under sufferance, though, being pushed along all the while. Now all of a sudden Exotic Dancer is looming as the one to beat. They're 3 or 4 lengths to our Vic, who's dropped back, and forget about the other one, Turpin Green. At 4 out, My Will the leader. Got in too close, brushed through the top of it. Exotic Dancer looming up now. Under double wraps now. State of Play hit that very hard, and further back then is our Vic. On the turn for home in the Betfair Bowl, and it's My Will under pressure. Absolutely cantering in second is Exotic Dancer, and 5 lengths to our Vic, State of Play. Coming towards the third last, My Will hit the top of that. Now Exotic Dancer moves up. Another mistake by State of Play as they've got come now to the 5th and final open ditch. My Will battling away gamely the far side, running the race of his life. Grabbed now by Exotic Dancer, who goes on. They're a long way clear of our Vic, State of Play, and Turpin Green. 1 left to jump now, and it's Exotic Dancer. Second in the Gold Cup, now careering away from My Will and our Vic and State of Play as they come up now with 1 left to jump. Exotic Dancer, well clear, comes towards it, jumps it in great style, and he's home for all money. Exotic Dancer, Tony McCoy, jumped pretty sloppily in the early stages of this race, but got going again and is going on for a grand victory. In second is My Will, in third our Vic, followed then by State of Play, and last to finish, Turpin Green. John Joe O'Neill, the winning trainer. Tony McCoy, the winning rider. Number 1, Exotic Dancer, is the winner. Ridden by Tony McCoy, owned by Sir Robert Ogden. Second, number 3, My Will, Ruby Walsh. Third is number 2, our Vic, Timmy Murphy. And fourth, number 4, State of Play, Paul Maloney. Last, Turpin Green, who was struggling a long way from home for Tony Dobbin. But 13 lengths and 12 lengths were the distances, and that winner, Exotic Dancer, had it in his keeping a long way from home. In fact, I'd say probably 5 out. He was looming up as the would-be winner.
Well, what a different style of race from our opener, because they went lickety-split early on. State of Play and Arvik, who by this stage coming down to the 4th last, are both getting very tired. My Will is out in front. He's also tired. And Exotic Dancer is absolutely swinging. APC's a perfect stride there. State of Play makes a mistake from that stage on. He's just legless on the way home. He's so tired. But look at these 2 jockeys up front, Ruby Walsh and Tony McCoy Norman, the top 2 jockeys riding in Ireland or the UK at the moment. But one of them going considerably better than the other.
Yeah, absolutely. Ruby wasn't going to give up too easy. Knew this horse, My Will, would keep galloping. But Tony sees a perfect stride here, just lets the horse short, and My Will clouts it again quite hard. And Exotic Dancer deserved this race. Second in the Gold Cup, second or third in the King George. And you know, he's a real top-class horse. Very lucky to stand up early, made a bad mistake. But Tony spots a stride, and that's the difference between travelling well and travelling poorly, because Ruby's horse just galloped out through it, and all he has to do is let him stride away down to the last, and he meets the last on a little bit of a long stride, and Tony last stride said to him, if you just watch this, he just said, up you come, and sure enough he delivered. But a top class horse, and he could go back next year to Cheltenham and possibly be a big contender for the Gold Cup, because he's improving all the time and jumps well. But nice for Tony McCoy, off the mark for the Aintree Festival.
Yep, he has certainly started this festival in better style than he did the Cheltenham Festival. It could be his week, who knows. Exotic Dancer is also the first favourite to win this since First Gold claimed the first of his 2 Betfair Bowl wins in 2001.
Tony McCoy is 179th winner of the season, a remarkable jockey, a multiple champion, and a man who has seen the Grand National elude him over the years, been a source of frustration for him. 6-4 favourite, that one, Exotic Dancer. 10-1, My Will, and our Vic at 5-1.
Yes, thank you very much, John Joe O'Neill. You watched it here in the parade ring, and you never had a moment's anxiety.
No, it was nice to watch. It went a good gallop. He jumped reasonably well. He did hit one or two, but he did everything right, really. And you know, the further he went, the better he got. So he did it. He did it nice and sweet. So it was good.
He was the form horse in the race, but what an improver this horse has been.
Yeah, he's done nothing but improve this year. You know, he's just hit the right note and gone the right way, really. He's always been a nice horse. You know, he was third here to Alella and over hurdles. He had the ability, but he went and won his chase then the next time, and then he went and fell and fractured his pelvis at Sandown. You know, so he had the rest of the season off, and I'd say he's strengthened up since then, to be honest. And probably by fluke it all came right for us.
We'll probably keep walking because Tony's coming in, so we'll keep walking. But it was a wonderful second in the Gold Cup to Caldwell Star, and he's held his form all season.
Yeah, it's a pity Quarter Star was around this year. He'd have had a great season, but that's the way it goes, you know. He's been a great horse and he's done everything right, so, you know, we're delighted with him. And it's nice to end up on a nice note like that, you know.
It's wonderful, wonderful. Of course, Sir Robert Ogden not here this afternoon, but Blackjack Ketchum in the first didn't run as well as you expected.
No, he ran a blinder, really. He's beaten by a better horse on the day, you know. No excuse for him turning into the straight with 3 to jump. You wouldn't swap him for anything, and he jumped the third last and he was gone, you know.
You must chat to AP, but for BBC viewers, you've got Drum, Beg and Hasty Prince.
We're hopeful with Drum, Beg. He's in great form.
We wish you luck.
Thank you very much.
Well, it was an amazing race, really. Exotic Dancer in the Betfair Bowl traded at just over 100 to 30 in running, if you were lucky enough when it made that bad mistake, but was the well-backed, returned 6 to 4 favourite, having opened at 7 to 4. My Will second at 10 to 1, with Our Vic third at 5 to 1, and the winner is a top price 10 to 1 with Betfred for the Tote Sport Gold Cup next year. Generally 8 to 1 behind Quarter Star, who's 2 to 1 to retain its crown. But Exotic Dancer, a winning favourite and winning by 13 lengths, the 6 to 4 market leader.
And apart from the fact of Exotic Dancer being so impressive, I suppose the other stories are the disappointing runs. Turpin Green, who looked a bit nappy, didn't he? Meaning he wanted to go home.
Yeah, he's a tricky customer, Turpin Green. We've seen it before. He ran a cracker in the Gold Cup with blinkers first time, and he travelled quite well today, jumped well, came to the bin here by the stable yard, I would say, where he thought he was have enough done, and that was it. Got a few reminders and just didn't respond. So looks as though the blinkers worked first time, but he's a horse with huge potential. And State of Play, the Hennessy winner, ran a cracker in the Gold Cup. We were making excuses. He got hampered. Possibly they looked as though they went a little bit quick in front, but he's had a long season. I know he hasn't had many runs, but he'll be back next year.
And Our Vic, he'll bounce back from that.
Yeah,
again he was up there making a run.
He's a tricky customer, but he kept going well, and he wasn't beat a long way on the line. He wasn't beat a long way by My Will, and he's a good horse, but hard to catch on the right day.
Well, this year marks the 800th anniversary of Liverpool being granted its city charter. It also